Releasing limiting beliefs, manifesting your desires. What if I told you that your beliefs are the key to unlocking your greatest potential? In this video, we'll dive into the power of limiting beliefs and how to transform them into empowering beliefs that can create the life you truly deserve. For years, I struggled with self-doubt and limiting beliefs that held me back from pursuing my dreams. But then I discovered a powerful process that changed everything. In this video, I'll share my personal journey and the tips and tools that I have learned and guide you through the same transformative steps. So if you're on a path of soul alignment, you already know your life doesn't shift by pushing harder. It shifts when you match the energy that is trying to come through you. And the most reliable way to do that is by letting what uplifts you lead. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how that works. So, this is about getting into a particular rhythm rather than a specific method. This is a process. So, this certain rhythm comes alive when your soul, your heart, and your body start to move as one. In our society, we are trained to analyze things, to use our mind. And the biggest mistake that people make is that they think that manifesting is done in the mind. Like the mind is some kind of engine, and if you just rev it up and think harder and say more affirmations, your manifestations will arrive. The problem with that is that the universe, as we know, is looking at our frequency, and our frequency is only authentic when we are 100% embodied. The key is to attune yourself to the small things that intrigue you. It could be anything from having ease at the start of your day. What would that feel like? To, in my case, at one point I wanted a dog. Very simple thing. And it doesn't have to be grandiose. Start wherever you feel inclined to begin. Think of this space that you're creating as you're drawn to these simple things as your unique, energetic atmosphere. It is a vibration that moves you and a pace that brings you ease. So we're not hustling, we're not grinding, unless that appeals to you right now. But as we start out, it's not necessary. You know, there is a time and place where perhaps putting in long hours is a vibrationally aligned thing for you. But we don't need to front load our manifestations with a belief that we have to do harm to ourselves right out the gate or ever. So some people will claim that if you want to manifest and you apply work ethic and long hours into working toward what you want, that this is counteracting manifestation because it should be done with ease. This is something that Abraham Hicks teaches, and there's certainly a valid way of doing that. But it can limit you because some of us are motivated by challenges. And so if a challenge might actually stir your creativity and motivate you, but you're avoiding the challenge because you think that that will interrupt your manifestation, you're overthinking it. Okay? So when you pick up these subtle little glimmers that feel like they're pulling you toward them, anything you enjoy, a color, a scene, a part of the world, a career path, or just a feeling, those glimmers are invitations. They're invitations from your heart to move a little bit more in that direction and open up to it. So We've talked about how being only in your mind will kind of halt your manifestations because it's important to be embodied. So let's go a little bit more into what embodiment actually entails. So we want to use our mind for sure. That's how we focus, that's how we imagine, and that's how we plan. We also want to lead directly from the heart because the heart is where we tap into our soul. And then we want to connect with the earth and with the environment around us and the heartbeat of the earth. Because our soul blueprint can begin to move through us when we align from the stars or from our crown chakra through to our heart and then to the earth. When these three zones are awake and alive together, we can more easily intuit and sense where the manifestation glimmers or inspirations are. You will suddenly notice a sense of upward movement in your vibration, emotion, or mental state. You might not quite know yet what it looks like, what it's going to be for you yet, but you know that you are starting to soften inside, and you know that it makes you happier. You might feel it while you're walking through a certain place. You might feel it in the middle of a conversation with someone. You might feel it during a quiet moment when something clicks inside your mind and you say, oh yes, that. This is a signal that a brand new opportunity is coming to you spiritually. Spirit works in waves, comes to you and washes over you. And when that happens, Spirit is inviting you to move forward. It doesn't ask a lot for you in that invitation. It's just letting you know this opportunity is here. It is arriving. And as we listen to those little prompts and sensations, we have information that tells us where our spirit wants to go next. So once you get this impression, this inspiration, what you need to do next is very simple. You move toward it. If it was an action, you repeat it. But it's very important never to let yourself feel pressure. When something's important to us and we have a habit of coping through procrastination, you will reach a natural point where you'll notice that when you procrastinate or when you decide you don't have time for these glimmers and inspirations, being in that state of procrastination or delay will start to feel increasingly intolerable. Not from a sense of guilt, but just because it's like going the wrong way on the road or on the highway. It's very uncomfortable. So this part isn't always easy, but it doesn't have to be about bashing yourself for not being good enough because you didn't act as much as you thought you should act on this impulse. Instead, when it's the right moment to act, it won't feel grandiose. It won't feel like drudgery. It'll just feel like empowerment. Like, yep, I can do that. So starting out then, how might this look? It might look like going to the same quiet trail each week because you feel your system is opening up there. Or returning to a creative idea that lights you up. Making space for a conversation that brings you peace. Making plans. Writing a business plan. This isn't about necessarily just taking non-committal steps. It's about letting your inspiration slowly gain traction. When we're coming from the heart, we're not worried about doing the wrong thing. We're not trying to control things or be perfect. Coming from the heart, you are implicitly loving yourself through the process. And it doesn't matter how long it takes at all, because you feel a constant flow coming toward you. So you don't need to try really, really hard to do what the universe wants. Instead, you tune into the version of you that already knows that they can have those things. And then start rising up to that level, to that self. The version of you that you want to achieve is real. That version of you has an energy field. It may not be actualized in this current space-time moment, but it's there. So in this moment, what can you do to align to that version of you? Well, you can ask, what feels available to me now that aligns to the highest version of myself? What details of that future self are already revealing themselves right now in small ways? And what does that version of me return to? How does he or she think about herself, life, and day-to-day happenings? And how can I start doing the same? So we're removing desire and lack from the equation and simply inviting new ways of perceiving who we are. So now you have an active field of manifestation. And as you stay connected with this, you're actually not only working with metaphysical principles, you're reshaping your nervous system, your energetic field, and your daily habits. Not through force, they just arise. And this creates a very specific vibration that becomes almost like a container where your creative potential can stabilize. And here's what that might look like. You choose things that match your resonance and you refuse things that don't, whether it be how you're treated, the type of jobs you apply for, how you respond to people when they push you or when they're good to you. You leave situations that pull you out of this alignment because you just can't handle it. And you know there's something more for you. And you accept that. And you refine your schedule so your energy stays centered. Really quick, I have always struggled with mornings because I have suffered from a lifetime of insomnia, which I've worked very hard to find ways to balance and heal. One of the ways I've done that is by only looking for jobs that start a little bit later in the morning, like 10 o'clock or later, or even evening shifts. And that changed my entire orientation to life. Because when I knew that I could sleep as long as I needed to, my insomnia started to dissipate quite a lot. Part of what was keeping me awake was the fear of not being able to sleep and having to wake up early. And some days I'll naturally wake up at 6 anyway. But I usually get plenty of rest now. It's because I prioritized something that I was taught I should be able to overcome, but I couldn't, which was getting up early. And I replaced it with positions that start a little bit later. Everything changed. But it takes courage sometimes to adapt and accommodate to your own unique frequencies. And the more sensitive you are, the more specific those needs are going to get, and you might feel like you're acting entitled. Oh, I don't do mornings, but maybe it can be done. And it can also look like speaking differently, speaking without strain, speaking with wisdom, and speaking from a different place within your being. And as we gain more and more embodiment, our voice will drop down to the chest area and down to the belly and all the way down to the pelvic region. And you can even bring it down your legs into your feet. And for anyone who's ever listened to Gabor Mate, who speaks about psychology and the biology of societal dysfunction, he speaks from deep, deep within his chest and heart area. And you can feel it when you listen to him. It's very deliberate. Whereas often when we listen to really young people, like teenagers, their voices are way up here in their mouth and in their head. It's not coming from deep within them. So one way you can practice existing within your vibration is by letting your voice come from deep within you. We're just letting the place from which we're speaking fall deep within our being as far as it wants to go. Okay? So some of these shifts seem small, and that is why they are often overlooked. Because sometimes small shifts can make massive changes. If you've ever had a chiropractic adjustment, sometimes the adjustments are very small, but the relief is massive. It's a similar concept. Or for people who have food sensitivities and simply eliminate one particular food and their whole life changes. Very small. We can't help what we're sensitive to, right? The body can be very sensitive to a variety of inputs. And you can be just as picky as you want to be to refine your vibration and to create that safety and softness. Or, depending on your personality, maybe you prefer excitement and testing limits. Whatever it is you prefer, that makes you feel alive. Okay? So, repeat after me. I allow this frequency of my truth. I am choosing to hold it. And when you can hold it, eventually, the world will reflect it back. The version of you that lives in total clarity is making these kinds of real decisions. This person doesn't just perform. This person is available for the kind of energy that the universe is aligned to within her. And the world reflects it back. There's a saying that for those who have the audacity to imagine a good life for themselves and don't accept less, they usually get it. And you can call that manifestation, but you can also call it thinking with audacity, thinking with privilege. Doesn't matter your background, race, ethnicity. It doesn't matter what you consider to be your strength or weakness. It doesn't matter where your family came from, what you think your IQ is, whether you completed school or not. Doesn't matter. It's about being in that clear vibration and being available for it. Let your reality reorganize itself. And you'll know when it's working because everything will feel lighter, more comforting, soft, more clean, like stepping outside after it rains, more flow, less concern, less worry. Sometimes we get moments where we're asked to trust and might have some anxiety. But if we see that as an opportunity to leverage toward building our sense of trust and evidence of what we're doing, eventually, even the unsettling moments can feel it's like something you're grateful for because you can see what it's helping you to do. Those moments are pointing out where we can soften a little more, trust a little more, and become more embodied, most of all. This is what it means to live by what uplifts you. Every day, you become the condition that you're seeking. And you already know what uplifts you. You've experienced it, but sometimes we block it with our mind. It's a slow process of loving yourself more that allows you to do this, little by little. Your soul is waiting because your soul doesn't have any issue. So, start there in your heart. Start with one thing that feels absolutely right for you and see how you can expand that. One thing that gives you oxygen, that lets you breathe easier. And let this be your beginning, your new beginning. Most of you are already on this path, but sometimes Spirit has a little bit of an extra boost for you, and you can let this video be that for you. You simply learn to see with new eyes, and then let your body relax into that new vision until it's reflected all around you. It becomes a living stream of consciousness within you. And then you can give back. And for a lot of us, that's where a lot of the joy is. It's in sharing and giving back and expanding and radiating to other people. Letting the joy grow and expand outward. Thank you everyone for listening today. If you enjoyed this, feel free to check out my website, northstarmysticschool.com, for additional resources. And I hope you have a blessed day.